if you're trying to be in the top 1% of musicians and get ahead of 99% of other artists, then you're going to need a lot of hard work, patience, a little bit of luck, and lastly, you're going to need to learn these 5 skills to give you a competitive advantage over everyone else. Before we get into the 5 different skills that you should learn, I just want to put it out there that the point of this isn't for you to become like some master guru in each of these, like top tier A1 professional level on each of these skills. It's kind of unlikely for that to happen. If it does happen, cool, you know what I mean? Like, we should all strive to get better in different skills. It's not going to hurt you. But my point is, there are going to be some of these skills that you're naturally better at, and some of them you're going to naturally need a little bit more work. You're going to need to do a little bit more research and a little bit more practice on in order to be proficient at it. The point of this, if it isn't to become a master at all of it, the point of this is actually just to aid you as a musician, as an artist in the modern day. You feel me? You want to have as many tools at your disposal when you're going about your journey. Now, the first skill is going to be marketing and positioning. And of course, there's going to be a whole bunch of different strategies and different people that can tell you different hacks and tricks to get different streams and views and all of that. That's just a part of it. Of course, you want to make sure you're doing your homework. You want to make sure you're watching different YouTube channels and reading different books and listening to different podcasts that are talking about music marketing specifically, actually putting yourself out there as an artist or putting somebody else out there as an artist if you're a manager or like a record label or whatever. You want to get these different perspectives. You want to hear the different strategies that people have, especially because there's no one size fits all. There's not any, magic golden bullet that will help you achieve all of your dreams. There isn't any blueprint that everybody can follow and everybody will hit 100% success when they do it. That is a scary thing for some people, but for a lot of us, hopefully it's inspirational, it's motivational, meaning like I don't have to do this a certain type of way. I could kind of find my own way. And this isn't to say you want to do it blindly. Like I said, you're going to do your homework. You're going to look at different strategies that people have and say, okay, I'll take a little piece of that. I'll take a little piece of that, and you keep getting all of these different ingredients until you have something new altogether. The whole point of this is to try and get better at understanding how to market yourself, promote yourself, position yourself in the world. What are people actually responding to? What are the cultures of the different platforms that you're putting your content out on? You know what I mean? Don't just post your stuff on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, whatever platform you like. Don't just post on these platforms and just hope for the best. What are people actually finding success with on these platforms already? This is where it's not some of the fun sides of being an artist. You do have to do some of your homework, some of your market research. If you're going to be participating on these platforms, you might as well see what's working, what's not working, what might just be a waste of your time. Or in fact, I know nobody has done anything like this that I've seen before, but I'm intentionally stepping outside of the box. Having that, that knowledge at your disposal, having that in your arsenal is something that you're going to want. You don't want to just be flying blind when it comes to this. And some people might say, that takes the fun out of it. That takes the creativity out of it. I don't feel any freedom when I'm creating content anymore. And I'm going to push back on that because let's just kind of do it the way that you might be suggesting or thinking about, where you're just flying blind and you're putting out whatever you can. A year from now, 2 years from now, how much more likely do you think it is that you may be burned out? That this may be just feeling like it's just a waste of time, man. I'm putting shit out there. I don't know what's working. See, if you're doing your homework, if you're actually seeing what's working, you're able to have some sort of guideline. You're able to have some sort of North Star to look at as you're going about your journey. Like I said, there is no right way. There is plenty of wrong ways to go about doing things, but there's no only one answer right way. It's not like school where you have multiple choice and there's only one that you get or you fail the test. That's where school fucked up so many of us, is because we're looking for the right strategy, the right marketing blueprint, the right whatever the fuck, and it's It's just not existent. You keep, like I said, taking ingredients and you use that knowledge and saying, okay, I know I've ran past campaigns before, or I've seen other campaigns work, and you're actually studying this from afar. And I know that this actually works with the platform. Let me tweak this. And then when you're starting to do your little tests and all, I'm not going to get into the nerdy science of trying to get 1% better with your content. But as you're doing all of those, again, you have that baseline or guideline to look back to or refer back to. The second skill that you're going to want to, this one I'm going to say master. I'm going to say you're going to at least try to master this skill, is your music. This is the only one where, you know what I mean, you should at least try to be top A1 level. You feel me? And what does that even mean? I mean, we all know what true talent looks like, that undeniable talent. But what does it even mean to be, A1 or professional or top tier as a musician? It's kind of one of those things that it depends on where you're looking at it from. It's subjective. It's very opinion based. But there are so many different things that we can do to make sure that we're honing our skills as a musician. Of course, make music, make a whole bunch of music. It's like a muscle that the more you use it, the easier it is to actually do the routine that you're trying to do. So you might have even noticed, if you take a little bit of a break from creating music, it's kind of rough. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta get back in the swing of things. Like, and then it is like riding a bike, of course, for probably so many of us. At least it is for me. But despite that, you could still be a little rusty. You can still think back and be like, man, I remember when I was on the zone and then like songs was just coming out. I'm like, where are these coming from? Where are these ideas and lyrics even coming from? You feel me? I'm just like pouring shit out, and it's just some of my best work, and it's just happening one after another, after another, after another. And then life happens, and it's like, damn, I did take a couple weeks off. So making sure that you're constantly flexing this muscle, constantly, using that creative spark that you hopefully have inside of you, the better it's going to be. But it's not just creating the music that's something that you need to practice on. It's also performing live, and maybe, I guess, this may be something that depends on what your version of success is. But if you're somebody that does see themselves performing one day and then, I don't have the shows right now, why would you not be practicing all the time? And I'm talking as much to you as I am to myself, because even if you're practicing your song once a day or a couple songs once a day, you could always be doing a little bit more. Any practice is better than none, but make sure that you remember your lyrics. It's really, really easy to know your songs when you first start making them, but then a year after making them, it's like, damn, I missed this one line. It would be these little things that would actually make a difference in a live performance. So it's just like creating the music. You want to just keep that muscle flexed. You want to keep that muscle stretched out. You want to keep it where it's not just immobilized, where it's like, damn, it's atrophied so much where I don't even have this muscle anymore. I gotta just start all the way over. You feel me? Like I'm performing live for the first time. And it doesn't have to be anything serious. You could take like your remote controller or just take a water bottle or something, just something where you're putting yourself in the situation like you're performing, and just practice that. Again, these are all like, yes, you're practicing, or not practicing, you're creating music consistently. That's flexing that muscle consistently. You're actually writing music consistently. You're actually performing music consistently. These are all things that you want to make sure you're keeping it fresh. And naturally, you're going to progress. Naturally, you're going to get into more of a rhythm the longer that you do it and the more consistent that you are, and don't let life get in the way of it. But putting all of that aside with the music, what are some of the things that you can do to actually enhance you as an artist? Let's say you're a hip hop artist or R&B, and you purchase beats on YouTube or BeatStars or wherever you get your beats from. You got a homeboy that makes beats, whatever, right? I hate to call them gatekeepers. I hate to put any label on them, but what if you started making your own beats? What if you just try to start, like, learning how? Maybe at first it's one of those things where it's like, bro, my beats don't even come close. I'm not about to put a song out to that. But then What about that first beat where you're like, bro, I would actually write to this. I would actually make a song to this. That is going to be something that unlocks you to a whole new level. And I'm talking about personal experience from that. Just because, again, I know collaboration is important. I'm not saying don't ever collaborate. These are skills that you can have, but it doesn't mean you have to always use it. You know what I mean? Just because you have the knowledge of marketing and positioning doesn't mean you can't hire an agency later to do some marketing and branding or whatever the hell that you decide to hire them for later down the line. You can still get help. You can still hire a producer or get a beat maker to make you a beat or whatever the hell, buy it off of BeatStars or YouTube. You can do these things, but having the ability to do it yourself. It costs money. Let's say money wise, like I really want to make music, but I can't afford to buy this beat. You know what I mean? I wanted this song just popped off. This one would hurt. I got the $30 lease, but somebody bought the exclusive. I leased it. I didn't know it was going to pop off though, and somebody bought the exclusive. Dear Mr. Beatmaker, can I please get this? You know what I mean? Sorry, I sold it. You're going to have to talk to that artist. What do you think the chances are that they're like, oh yeah, here, for your song, fuck it. No, you lost your chance. And again, I'm not saying that you can't collaborate, but the freedom that you have when you are finally able to, from scratch, create your own song. There's nobody that can say, oh, sorry, I sold the exclusive. Oh, sorry, I know a lot of them with the leases, they have stipulations like up to 1 million streams. Well, I mean, I've never had any producer come and be like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? He was only supposed to get up to 100,000. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to renew that lease. Nobody's actually come at me for streams going over, but the whole point of it, like, damn. You mean if I actually get this song to pop off enough where I want to use it or somebody wants to use it in a TV show or a movie or something like that, and I'm talking about sync licensing, and now I got to get a hold of you. I got to make sure that you agree to it and that you sign off on it, and if you don't, I actually lose my opportunity, and that shit moves so fucking fast that I actually really might lose my opportunity with that. So how much easier would it be if it's like, yeah, I made everything. Yeah, I agree. Sign off. Go ahead and use it. You can get paid for that. Even if you don't get paid, man, like you get paid through attention that your song gets in that TV show. And all these are hypotheticals. But we're talking about how you become the top 1% of artists, how you get ahead of 99% of artists. Most artists are like, yeah, but you don't have to. You might, that voice in your head might actually be speaking. I hear that voice too. It happens to me too. Like, do you really need to do this? And that's the bitch inside of me. That's just like, nah, don't do this. This hard work. No. And then I got to kind of take over and be like, no, but I'm thankfully in charge. You feel me? Like the bitch inside of me does not run this. You're not going to tell me that this hard work is going to just throw me off or whatever. But it's more than just being a beat maker. Let's say you are an artist that you put out, I don't know, like country or pop or whatever. You know what I mean? You're in a band or something like that. You might actually end up getting fucked up if your guitarist just leaves. You know what I mean? Or your drummer or whatever. I don't know. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if you're the singer and you depend on somebody playing the guitar behind you? Why not learn how to play the guitar? And this can go in so many different ways. Why not learn how to play the piano or an instrument, anything that actually backs you up if you're like playing traditional instruments. When I'm playing the piano and the keyboard and stuff like that, it's virtually going into like the electronic, digital audio workstation or whatever. The DAW is going into Logic and I'm putting it in electronically. But what about the musicians out there that are actually playing with other people? And you know what I mean? Like I've seen it. I remember like years ago, I even saw like in different musicians group that I've been on Facebook where people were like, hey, like drummer needed, good guitar player needed, bass player needed, whatever the hell. Like where they're actually like saying like, I need somebody that plays music. God damn, if that's not a gatekeeper. Again, I'm not trying to put labels on all this, but really, if you'll notice a trend with a lot of these skills, it's really just trying to cut off as many things that are trying to say, hey, tie you to me, you need me in order to make music. You need me in order to make your dreams come true. Motherfucker, I don't need you to play guitar. I'll play it and sing. Motherfucker, I don't need you to make that beat. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep my little $30 for your lease and I'll make it myself. Plus, I have full rights. Why not? Again, this isn't to say never work with anybody, fuck collaboration, do it all yourself, but there is a certain power of that I don't need you energy. That ability to be completely autonomous, to be an artist that is able to put out their art at will. There's nothing that's stopping you. You feel me? There's nothing that's holding you back. And the next thing kind of ties into the last, where we're talking about building the skill of your music. The next skill is audio engineering. It kind of ties into your music, but we're talking about the editing aspects of it. Do you go to a studio right now? Are you the person that actually mixes your song? If so, then congratulations. You know what I mean? You already are doing something that a lot of artists would say, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I just make music. And if you are one of those artists that's like, bro, fuck all of that. Again, remember that voice inside that's saying, do I really need this? You got to ask yourself, do you really want to be in the top 1% of artists? I'm not saying if you master all of these skills, you're going to be in the top 1%. The point that I'm making is that what are the chances of you being in the top 1% if you're not at least giving yourself these tools? Each of these things puts you up multiple levels. If you don't master your marketing and positioning, I don't care how good your music is. If a tree falls, nobody's there. How much sound do you think we're talking about? Like, oh, you hear that tree that fell? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. That shit's all the way in the forest. In fact, we're not even speaking about it because nobody heard that shit. That's going to be your music. That's going to be your amazing song that would actually have so many fans of it if only it was able to get into their heads or into their ears or whatever the hell. You feel me? Like, your music is so good right now, but how much better would it be if you actually spent the time to practice even more? How much better would your set be when you perform live if you had been practicing it every single day to the point where you could do it in your fucking sleep? And the same is going to be with your audio engineering. Of course, you can hire other people, the best of the best. There's going to be people out there that can mix your song so much better than you. Like I said in the beginning, the point of this isn't to be the best. The point of this isn't to be like, I am the best audio engineer. I can mix my song better than anybody else. That's cool if you get to that point, if you truly feel like that. You feel me? But it's not one of those like, well, because I won't be the best, I might as well not try. Because I don't really understand that now, I might as well not try. What I'm good at is the music thing. I'm just going to stick to that. I'm not saying that you focus on all of these other things so much that you lack the music. The music is always going to come first. The music is the fucking base of being a musician. You feel me? Like, that's the whole point. But being able to, again, cut off any of these gatekeepers, cut off anybody that's saying, hey, without me, you feel me, you ain't getting that song done. You could write it, you could find the beat, you could buy the beat, you could make the beat. I don't give a damn, but can you record that shit? Do you know how to mix it? Even if you do record it, does it sound right? Or does it sound just flat? Like, how the fuck do they get it to sound so saucy? I just want to know. Man, all it takes is a little bit of intentionality. And it's one of those things that does take time. It is one of those things that you will have a little bit of a learning curve. And at first, it's like, damn, bro, it sounds so much better when I go to the studio. If you really want, I mean, I hate doing this shit, recording a song twice, but if you really want, you could go record the song at the studio and then come back, record it at your home studio and try to mix it and make it sound just as good as the professional level that you're used to. You know what I mean? But like I said, cutting this gatekeeper off is going to be nothing but advantageous to you. It's going to be nothing but good along the way. Because let's say you forever end up still going to a studio. The ability to say, I don't know, if like a pandemic happens or some shit, and you can't go to a studio. How you going to make your songs? You know what I mean? Now you're not tied down where you can't really do shit. Let's say if a goddamn natural disaster happens, you got a hurricane or a wildfire. Like, we're hearing all of these crazy things that happen all of the time, earthquakes or whatever. I don't know. Like, shit happens is my point. Are we going to let that be the thing that dictates whether or not you can record? Whether or not that new song that you just wrote, and I know that feeling when you just write a song and you just ready to record that bitch. The longer I sit on it, more of that energy and that life of it just starts to drain out. I need to record it now. What if something happens? But actually, that's like glass half empty, pessimism, and all that shit. So let's look at the bright side. Let's say that everything is fine. I guess it's like kind of the bright side, because then you go to schedule it with your studio, and they are booked. They're good. What do you mean? You're going to a nice professional studio. It's that A1 quality. You feel me? It's completely booked for 2 weeks. Would you like to go ahead and book it and put a little deposit down? No refunds, of course, if you can't make it. And, of course, we'll get you in for those couple hours. And then while you're here, just know that you're on a timetable, because people are coming in after you and they're going to be here before you. So don't come here early. Don't be here right on time. Don't try to stay here late because somebody's going to be here right after you. Just try to do the best you can in this time frame. How creative do you feel right now? You feel good? It's 2 weeks after you wrote the bitch. 2 weeks after you got excited where you actually wanted to record your song, and now you finally get your chance. This is the price that you pay for going to somebody good, somebody in demand, right? Again, I'm not saying don't ever collaborate. I'm not saying ignore teamwork and all of that. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? It's a good thing to do. It's a shitty thing to rely on. You know what I mean? A shitty thing to have to do. A shitty thing to have to say, damn, my car just broke down. Cost thousands of dollars to get that bitch fixed. There goes my savings. There goes my budget for the month, where I was going to buy these different beat leases, go to the studio, all these different things, you feel me? And now you're fucked. You just gotta wait. Like I said, life happens. It doesn't have to be a natural disaster. It doesn't have to be some sort of crazy pandemic for life to just happen. And the ability to say, damn, life just happened. But anyways, let me just go hit my studio, because I can do it all. I don't need to worry about life happening and it fucks up the thing that actually makes me feel better. Now I can just record for free. You know what I mean? Now I can just actually put that energy, me feeling down in the dumps instead of being all depressed. And I can actually have that creative outlet that I'm used to having with recording my music. Now I can actually put that into my art. I can actually put that into my music. How beautiful is that? So working on that, making sure that, you get a little bit better, even if you are recording your own music and you are mixing your own shit. How do you, what are some of the other plugins that you could use? What are some other little tips and tricks? Did you learn something new this week about it? And I fall into the habit of saying, bro, it's good enough. You know what I mean? Like, we get these little templates, we get these little presets and shit like that. And it's like, oh yeah, man, it sounds good. But damn, we got to fight that urge. We got to fight that urge to, man, that sounds good. It sounds great. It could sound amazing. But what's better than amazing? I don't know. If you don't let yourself find out, you'll never know. And maybe you end up, fucking around and it gets a little bit worse. This is the infinite game that we signed up for, right? And if you end up falling into the bottom 99% of music artists, don't let it be because you didn't try hard enough. You were too good for a certain skill. It isn't something I need, right? I don't need to mix my own shit. You know what I mean? I'll just record it and send it off. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, you don't need to. But why not? Why not be able to? Why not go ahead and save that money? Let's say you do go out to the studio and you know what I mean? Like, you have the means. Like, bro, I could have a car breakdown and then I'll go buy another one. Like, maybe you just got it like that. Maybe, like, no matter what type of shit happens, like, your money's long, you feel me? And that shit keep on stretching. That's good for you. But every dollar still counts. Every penny still counts, right? If you could use that same $1,000, $500, whatever amount of budget that you had to record your music, and you could put that into your marketing. And because we already went over skill number one, you're getting better and better and making that 1% better throughout time. You're actually making that dollar stretch even further too. Why would you not do that? If you can make a dollar stretch twice as far, that means you reach twice as many people. You feel me? Like you reach twice the amount of attention that you would have, gotten otherwise. But that is three of the skills. We have two more. The last one is one that honestly, without it, you're just fucked. I saved it for last for a reason, because like, what are you doing if you don't have the fifth skill? And yet, it's one of those things that people commonly just overlook, and they're like, whatever. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about skill number 4, which is graphic design. Does that still exist in the age of AI, where you could just beep, boop, 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 put a little prompt in and bam, pops up a fucking graphic? Yes, it is still relevant, because how well do you think a 3-year-old can do math with a calculator? Not very well. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just putting in numbers. It's like, look at that. And it's like, I don't care how good the calculator is. It could be one of them scientific calculators. You feel me? Like, it doesn't matter if you have all the answers if you still don't know what you're looking for. And having the skill of graphic design is one of those things that accompany your marketing and positioning. It accompanies your music. It doesn't really accompany your audio engineering, but of course, putting yourself out there through graphics is going to be something that it's just like an accent mark. And of course, we could be talking about like YouTube or Spotify banners, or, a profile picture, or maybe you put a thread or an X post out there. You got a little quote or a caption that you're like, man, that's some real shit that I said, and you want to put it in a graphic. So you put something together in Canva or some shit. You know what I'm talking about? Them little graphics that look nice, something that make people go, that's thoughtful. That's pretty cool. How relevant is that to us as an artist, especially in the age of AI? Like I said, you don't want to be that 3-year-old with a calculator, but having these tools is going to be nothing but good for us, meaning there isn't going to be this huge hurdle that you're going to have to get over to become decent at graphic designing. You know what I mean? What used to take so long in Photoshop, where you had to like point by point take out the background, you can now on so many different applications, just one click and your background's gone in your photo. And you could put that on a thumbnail or like a cover art design for an album or a single or whatever the fuck. My point is, these things are going to help put your ideas out there in different ways. You don't want to just have your music or your written words out there. You want to actually put, what do they say? A picture is worth 1,000 words. And that's something that I do believe in. You know what I mean? Like, you can have a picture say so much. You can have like a caption work so much. And then a lot of the times you might see something that is very simple, that seems like it doesn't take much effort. But then behind the scenes, there are so many little details that actually go into it. And it's kind of like music, where if somebody isn't an artist, they may hear somebody making a song or whatever, and there's these little details, and you probably know what I'm talking about, which is like you don't truly appreciate. I know how difficult it was to say that. I could tell that you didn't punch in or whatever, and you did that all one take, whatever feat that they ended up accomplishing. Where it's like, wow, that's pretty dope, or wow, that's creative. You know what I mean? When you actually do something, you have a certain appreciation when somebody does it well. So the little things that you may take for granted in different graphics that you see, once you actually start honing in on the skills, the skill of graphic design rather, this is going to be something that I honestly feel like is a game changer. Whether it's just you making thumbnails 1% better every single time, or you're making your cover art 1% better every single time, where when somebody doesn't know who you are, the better the chances are that they click on it just because of your graphic. Like, that's amazing. That's only more people that wouldn't have come in. Like, again, let's say your song or your music or whatever, it sounds good. If somebody heard it, 7 out of 10 people that like that genre of music, they end up liking that song and add it to their playlist. But how many of those people would add it to their playlist if nobody clicks on it? And this is the power of getting better with your graphic design skills and making better thumbnails. And it's not just you, you know, technically getting better with the technical, tactical aspects of it, but this is like principle wise. Like, okay, with thumbnails and examples, like why do most like very what's the word, established YouTubers, they all have a similar way of putting together thumbnails where there's not a lot going on. You know what I mean? It's very simple. There's not a lot of words, and there's like a rule of three where you got the background, you got the person, you got a few words maybe that goes along with it. Why is that? Maybe it's because they've gotten to a point where they're starting to understand the principles of understanding how much is too much and just seems like clutter and just makes somebody swipe away. These little nuances where, again, you might just be getting 1% better every week or every month or whatever. The whole point is you're getting better. If I had to throw away one of these skills, I admit it would be this one. Only because it is getting ridiculous with AI. Like, it's getting crazy how with just the explanation of what you want, you can actually end up generating that through artificial intelligence. So that's pretty lit. That's pretty cool. Again, I don't want to be the 3-year-old on a calculator. I want to at least know what's going on. So I can still do the prompts and I can still have you generate everything, but I could say, ooh, I really like how you do that. A beginner might be like, oh, that's awesome. I love that generation that you just did. I want to use that. The more skilled person, the person that's actually done a little bit of graphic designing themselves, they might be like, ooh, I really like that, but how about we add a little bit more shadows on the left side? Whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is for that specific case where you want to add these little nuances and details to it, having that eye and appreciation for what could be better despite how amazing the product that you see right there. So yeah, like I said, if we had to throw one away, if you had to just learn 4 skills, you know what I mean, throw this one away. It's definitely not going to be the next one, but like I said, you're not gonna be. The whole point isn't to be a master at this. You know, we're cutting off gatekeepers. We're trying to have that competitive advantage that other people just kind of overlook. Other artists are just like, it's not that deep. I'll just throw something together. We want to try to avoid that. You know what I mean? We don't want to have to go to Fiverr or whatever, Upwork, whatever, I don't know, whatever fucking different platforms there are out there where you can hire somebody as a freelancer to design your cover art or your thumbnails. And again, your money might be long as hell. That's cool, but if you can put that money somewhere else, why would you not want to do that? Why would you, only a fool would say, fuck it, just spend it. I don't give a damn. It don't really make much sense. But wrapping this up with skill number 5. The last skill that, honestly, like I said, you would be a fool not to know this one. Video editing, video creation. If you do not know how to create videos, man, I said pictures are worth 1,000 words, but videos are worth 1,000 pictures. You have to take this shit serious. This is the number one way that people are actually consuming content right now. And that's on all mediums, whether it's news, whether it's music, whether it's fucking, education, whether it's like regular entertainment with drama or like everything is like moving to fucking video. Even podcasts are like, fuck it, they're already listening, we might as well have them watch too, like feel even more connected. Everything is moving to video. Why would you not do this? These are more ways where you're able to put yourself out there. And some people are not naturally good on video, and that's completely understandable. You feel me? Like, I personally, I got a little bit clammy when I first started getting behind the camera. It was just a little bit weird, a little bit awkward. Not anything I couldn't push through, but it was noticeably more awkward for me than when I was performing live with my music the first time, like the first few times. Like when you always get nervous, but when you first go and it's like, bro, I don't even know what the fuck to expect. Like, I'm just now brand spanking new. You feel me? That was less nerve-wracking than getting behind a camera. So I understand your apprehension maybe from wanting to be on video. It's just like any other muscle. Like I said, the more you use it, the more likely it is you'll be able to flex it anytime that you want. You won't lose it whatsoever because it's kind of like something naturally that happens. But it's more than just creating the videos. Of course, there's the editing of it. You know what I mean? Like, what are the different things that you can do? If you have a song out there, if you want to put a lyric video out there, can you make a lyric video? Do you know how? And obviously, you can just have like the basic ones where your lyrics are just like put out there. I have some out there like that, but then I also have some where you got lyrics popping up on the screen and they're like motion graphics or whatever. I learned all of these things and it all didn't just happen at once. It was literally little by little. And there's so many different videos and animations that I've done on this channel alone, which is all different things that I've done. And that's not like, ooh, look at me, I'm so cool, it's a brag. I'm saying like these were ways that I was able to hone my skills as a video creator, because the better I got at that, the better it was for me to put my music out there. If you're doing an ad, isn't it going to be better if you have a better video? If you're putting a YouTube video out there and the song's already a fucking banger, like, doesn't it like match if you have a music video that matches it and is just as good, or if not fucking better, that takes it to a whole new level? And you might say, you know what? I told you, bro. I told you my money is fucking long. I don't give a fuck. I got thousands and thousands that I could blow every single month on videos and recording sessions and shit like that. Cool. I could talk about the same things where you're going based off of their schedule, and you know what I mean? It's not just them scheduling to shoot your shit. You know, how pressed are they to edit your shit? You know, if you have the song that comes out in a month, what if they don't get it done until a month and a half? And these are a lot of what ifs and hypotheticals, and I understand that. But anybody that has been putting out music and content for long enough while working with other people, then you know that what if fucking happens. You know what I mean? Like, damn, what if your shit's, you know, they're booked up for a couple weeks? Like, come on, man. Like, that's pessimistic, but that shit's happened to me. Damn, I just want to do this shit right now. And then you're like coordinating everything. Of course, with the video, there's only so much you can do. You can set up your different tripods and shit like that. But unless you're doing like a selfie stick and you're just carrying this bitch around with you, you're going to need somebody else, right? You're going to need somebody that can hold it. Not necessarily. There's keyframes. What are keyframes? Oh, you need to work on your video editing skills, because these are ways that you can actually add some movement to your video without any movement whatsoever. But will somebody holding the camera help? Of course it will. Of course it will. Especially if they know what they're doing. In fact, one of my favorite things is to say, okay, you, Mr. Videographer, that already knows very good camera movement and you've been practicing this skill, can you come and shoot me? And then as you shoot me, can you give me all of these clips? I'm going to edit this myself. And I've only done that one time, but every other time that I've had somebody do a music video for me, actually, except for the very first one where I just left it as is. But every other time after that, once I started to get some of my video editing skills up, that's when I started adding little differences. You know what I mean? Like, there's this angle that you got of me that I don't really like. Let me change it up. It seems a little flat to me personally right now. Let me actually add a little bit of effect. You know what I'm saying? Being able to kind of saying, okay, here's the music video that you gave me. Thank you. This is just the start of it. Now I'm going to take this as my base, as like the big stone before it becomes the statue of David, and I'm going to just start chiseling away at it, and I'm going to start making it more of my own. I'm going to add these little things that show that I have as a creative put my fingerprint on this too. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessary. In fact, again, just like the audio engineering or the beat making or whatever, or, you know, finding a guitarist and learning to play the guitar yourself, all of these different scenarios where you're learning these skills, of course there's going to be better out there. Of course somebody's going to be better at editing videos and shooting shit and all of that. My point is, how much more content would you be able to put out there if you could do it yourself? How much more content would you be able to consistently put out there if you were able to shoot it, edit it, you know, put all the different captions and motion graphics, all of the different cool things that you want? And at first, you know, it would be very simple. It can be simple. In fact, that's like kind of with the culture right now, like very chill, authentic, not really doing too much, because so many people for so long was doing that flashy in your face, here you go, everything's moving constantly, where some people started to switch it up. At the end of the day, you're going to find your own style. Pay attention to the culture, but don't let it dictate what you do completely. You know what I mean? You want to still stay true to yourself. If being flashy and all that in your videos is you, cool. But now you'll have the ability to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where, and I'm gonna bring it back to audio engineering because it's so similar with both of these skills, where somebody might have more time. They have this skill down pat, where, man, I've been mixing this shit for as long as you've been making music. You know what I mean? I've been making music videos for as long as you've been making music. You're gonna have these people where like they're really good at what they do. But the difference that they have or that they don't have that you do is going to be the drive to make this as good as it can be. Not perfect, because what is perfect, right? But perfect for you. As much as complete can be, you know what I mean? As complete can be. When you are done with it, you're like, man, this is done. I'll give you an example though. So there are a few songs that I still have out where somebody else mixed it. It's my very early songs where you can actually, I can hear a difference of how I mix, and I can even hear the evolution of when I started mixing my own shit and how it started to get better and better, and now I personally like my shit better, more than when it was getting mixed by this other person. No shade to them, of course. I went to them all the time. I gave them my money happily because they, before them, like, I never heard my shit so saucy. But that being said, all of the kudos and compliments to this person aside, they didn't have their heart wasn't in it. You know what I mean? They were getting paid. They were doing a job. And there would be these little times where, let's say I'm going from verse to hook, or I'm punching in, or some case where I'm going from one recording to another. There'd be these little breaths that would get cut off, and it like you would hear the clip, and you don't hear it when you're in the studio and you got this shit blaring, and you know what I'm saying, it's going through the speakers, but it's when you've been listening to it for like months, and you know what I mean, you got it in the headphones or whatever, and you're actually like hearing all of the little things that you would have done different. These are things that I found out later down the line once I started mixing my own shit that they would have been fixed. I would have caught that. And it's because, again, I have my heart's in it. It's not me throwing shade or throwing shots at this person. They were just getting paid. Like, they did the best. Like, this sound good? Bet, cool. And they continued on. This same thing is going to be for your videos. And sometimes this can hinder you as an artist, where you can just kind of get in your head. You're overthinking. You're becoming a perfectionist. Like, it doesn't look as good as I want it to look. In my head, it just looks like Hollywood level. You got to be aware of where you're at. You know, I didn't stop releasing music just because I heard my music being at a higher level. I put out different videos and shit out there that honestly are in my unlisted section now on my YouTube channel, just because, yeesh. But I would never take that back. I would never say you shouldn't have put out those videos. You should have just waited until your skills were A1. That's how my skills got better. But at the end of the day, these are going to be the 5 skills that gives you a huge advantage over so many different artists that are just like, I'm too good for this. You know what I mean? I'm so good at my music. I don't have to worry about this. I got money that's so goddamn long. I'm going to always be able to pay for this. And again, it's not, don't ever work with nobody. Don't ever pay to have anything done. It's not saying that you have to forever do this shit by yourself for the rest of your music career. No, of course not. But now you are autonomous. Like I said, that energy you have when it's like, bro, I don't fucking need you. And again, no shade to any past videographers or audio engineers or producers that I've worked with. I'm not saying I'll never work with anybody else ever again. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever work with anybody else ever again. But being ahead of 99% of other artists means that no matter what the fuck happens, no matter what you try to do, I'm going to make this shit happen.